Welcome to Module 6 of the Qlause Internal Auditor course. Module 5 made the audit's product, Findings that Survive Challenge. This module delivers it. The audit report, the corrective action loop, verifying actions to effectiveness rather than to paperwork, and closing the audit so its results actually work for the organization. It maps to clauses 6.5 through 6.7 of ISO 19011. The usual reminder on method. The allocated time covers the whole approach. The study guide, the reference clauses in your licensed copy of the standard, this video, then the quiz. This video is the guided lesson inside that method. After this module, you will be able to do 4 things. Write an audit report that management reads, understands, and acts on. Set corrective action expectations without doing the auditee's job for them. Verify corrective actions to effectiveness, not to paperwork. And close audits properly, feeding the results to the program and to management review. Here is the frame for the whole module. An audit that ends at the closing meeting is a tour. The value chain runs further. Report, then corrective action, then verification of effectiveness, then organizational learning. And most weak programs break at the last 2 links. Actions accepted on promise, findings closed on paperwork, and the same problems back within the year. This module is about not breaking there. The report first. It is the complete, prompt, accurate record of the audit, the objectives, scope, and criteria. The identification, team, auditee, dates and locations, including any remote components. The findings with their evidence, conformities, non-conformities with their grades, and opportunities for improvement. The conclusions, answering the objectives. Any unresolved divergences. Fair presentation requires reporting them, not smoothing them out, and the agreed follow-up expectations. And write it for 2 readers at once because they need different things. The executive gets a half-page summary that answers 3 questions. How healthy is the system? What matters most? And what happens next? The process owner gets findings precise enough to act on without a single clarifying phone call, which, if you built them with Module 5's anatomy, they already are. Then distribute promptly, per the program's rules. A report that arrives 3 weeks late announces, louder than anything written in it, that the audit did not matter. Corrective action and the division of labor, which is strict and healthily so. The auditee owns the correction, the containment, or fix. They own the cause analysis, they own the corrective action, and they own its implementation. That is ISO 9001's Clause 10.2 discipline. And it is their analytical work to do. The auditor and the program own 3 things. Timelines proportionate to the grade, the plausibility check. Does the proposed action actually address the stated gap? And eventual verification. On plausibility, here is the classic miss. An action plan that retrains one operator for a finding about a missing control step is treating the symptom. Say so and send it back. And why the division matters. Auditors who write the auditee's action plans do 2 kinds of damage at once. They compromise their own independence for the next cycle. You cannot objectively verify an action you designed. And they produce actions nobody owns. A plan written by an outsider is implemented like one. Hold the line. Evaluate the plan. Never write it. Verification is a 2-question test, and the order matters. Question 1. Implemented? The new control exists. The form changed. The barrier is physically there. Necessary, but not sufficient. Question 2. Effective? The problem actually died. Resample the same evidence class that produced the finding, and it now conforms. The metric moved. The recurrence did not happen. Both questions answered, on evidence, or the finding is not closed. Because here is the commonest follow-up failure in internal programs. Paper closure. A signed action plan accepted as done. No resample, no evidence, no second question. And certification auditors sample specifically for it. Show me the verification evidence behind this closed finding is a standard move, precisely because it exposes so much. Verification method scales with grade. A minor might be verified at the next scheduled audit. A major earns its own follow-up visit, or a dated remote evidence review. But it is always verified, on evidence. Let me show you closure done right. From the study guide's worked example. The finding, a minor. 3 of 10 sampled change records had no effectiveness review. ISO 9001 Clause 6.3, and the organization's own QP 004. The auditee's corrective action, a field added to the change form, a review step added to the monthly engineering meeting, and the backlog of open changes reviewed. Verification, 10 weeks later. The auditor samples 5 changes raised since the action. 5 of 5 carry dated effectiveness reviews, and the backlog list is signed off. Closed, with evidence references. Total verification effort, 40 minutes, done remotely. That is what closed should mean, and notice how little it cost. Closing the audit. The audit closes when the planned activities are complete and any required follow-up is resolved. And then, the results go to work, into the program's aggregate analysis, Module 2's job, spotting the themes across audits, into management review, where audit results are a required input under 9.3. Enter next cycle's risk-based schedule. This year's findings are next year's risk weighting. And into auditor development, because every audit teaches the program something about its own methods. Retain the records the program defined, the report, the evidence logs, the corrective action trail, and the verification evidence. The auditor's lens. What will be checked? Certification auditors trace your loop backward. They pick a closed internal finding and walk it. Where is the verification evidence? Was the cause analysis real or a sentence? Did the report reach management review? A program that can answer those questions in 5 minutes per finding has passed the most predictive test of internal audit maturity that exists. A program that cannot has just handed the external auditor their own finding, against Clause 9.2. The practice note, and it is a scheduling habit, not a writing one. Put verification on the audit program calendar as first-class entries, dated, owned, tracked, not as goodwill tasks auditors get to when they are free. Because the pattern is utterly reliable, unscheduled verification becomes unverified closure within 2 quarters, every time. Let us gather the module up. The report is complete, prompt, and precise. An executive summary for management, actionable findings for process owners. The auditee owns correction, cause, and action. 10.2. The auditor owns the plausibility check, the timeline, and verification. Verification asks 2 questions, implemented and effective, and resamples the evidence class that produced the finding. Paper closure is the commonest follow-up failure, and the first thing external auditors sample. Verification scales with grade. Majors earn dedicated follow-up. Minors can ride the next audit. And the results feed program analysis, management review, and next cycle schedule, or the loop never closes. That is Module 6, and with it, one complete audit, from program to verified closure. Before you move on, reread Module 6 in the study guide, especially the worked example of closure done right. Read clauses 6.5 through 6.7 in your licensed copy of the standard. Then take the Module 6 quiz. 10 questions, pass mark 80%, with a fresh attempt after targeted restudy if you fall short. Module 7 turns to the auditor as a professional, the competence model, knowledge, skills, and behavior. The 2026 editions on digital tools and data literacy, and how auditor competence is evaluated and maintained.